Right now, somewhere, a newborn is lying on its mother's chest. It cannot lift its own head. It cannot focus its eyes past 12 inches. It cannot regulate its own body temperature. You did this too. Every single human who has ever lived arrived into the world almost completely helpless. But here's the strange part. No other primate is born this unfinished. A baby chimpanzee can cling to its mother's fur within hours. A baby gorilla can grip, crawl, and track movement almost immediately. Humans take a full year just to walk. Something delayed us. Or maybe something cut us short. And the answer to which one it is has been quietly reshaping how scientists think about birth, the brain, and what it actually means to become a person. You've probably never questioned this. Why would you? It feels normal because it's the only version of infancy you've ever known. But step back far enough and it stops looking normal at all. It starts looking like a design flaw, or a compromise, or a trade made somewhere deep in your evolutionary past that nobody remembers making. Let's start with the size problem, because that's where this story used to end. For decades, the standard explanation was simple. Humans evolved massive brains. Big brains need big skulls. But human hips only got so wide because wide hips make walking upright inefficient. So evolution found a compromise. Push the baby out early before the skull grows too large to fit through the birth canal, and let the brain finish growing on the outside. This idea has a name. Anthropologists call it the obstetrical dilemma. It was first proposed in the 1960s, and for a long time it was treated as settled science. Tight pelvis, big brain, early exit, case closed. It's a tidy story. It even explains why human childbirth is so much more dangerous and painful than birth in almost any other primate. A narrow passage, a tight squeeze. Nature apparently doing the best it could with two conflicting demands, upright walking and a bigger brain, and settling on an uneasy truce. For half a century, that truce was the textbook answer. It was taught in anthropology courses. It was repeated in documentaries. Nobody had much reason to question it, except it isn't that simple, because if the pelvis were really the bottleneck, women's hips should have kept widening over time to make room. They haven't. And here's something even stranger. Human pelvises are not actually as narrow as the old theory assumed. Researchers have measured them. The room is there. So why are babies still born so early? In 2012, biological anthropologist Holly Dunsworth published research that challenged the entire theory. She and her colleagues modeled something nobody had modeled properly before, the actual metabolic cost of pregnancy over time. And what they found didn't line up with a story about running out of space. It lined up with a story about running out of fuel. A pregnant body can only supply so many calories to a growing fetus before the mother's own metabolism starts to break down. Dunsworth calculated that a woman's metabolic rate during late pregnancy climbs close to the highest sustainable output the human body can maintain for an extended period, roughly the same ceiling seen in elite endurance athletes. Somewhere around 9 months, the fetus's energy demands hit that ceiling. Not a wall made of bone, a wall made of calories. Birth isn't triggered by running out of room. It's triggered by running out of fuel. Think about what that means. Your birth wasn't a rescue from getting stuck. It was a deadline. Your mother's body did the calculation for you, whether either of you knew it or not, and it delivered you the moment the metabolic math stopped working. But this still leaves the strangest part of the puzzle untouched. Because even with more time in the womb, human babies still couldn't do what other newborn primates do. So scientists started asking a different question. What if humans aren't just born early? What if humans are born into an entirely different developmental category? In the 1940s, Swiss biologist Adolf Portmann noticed something that didn't fit any existing model. He compared humans to what he called altricial animals, the ones born helpless, blind, and dependent, like mice or birds. And he compared them to precocial animals, the ones born ready to move like horses or deer. Human babies didn't belong to either group. Portmann proposed a third category entirely. He called humans secondarily altricial, meaning we descended from ancestors who were more physically capable at birth and then evolved backward into greater helplessness. Based on brain growth patterns alone, a human pregnancy should last closer to 18 to 21 months to produce a newborn with the same relative maturity as a baby chimpanzee. Instead, we're born at 9 months, which means every human infant spends roughly the first year of its life outside the womb in a state Portmann described,